is CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jim Berry. Welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Taking a live look outside now. Boy, we've had a little bit of everything today weather-wise. Some sun, some wind, some rain, some clouds. What's coming next? That's the question for our afternoon commute home. Let's find out from Next Weather Chief Meteorologist Ivan Cabrera. Ivan.
Yeah, we're going to get rain tomorrow, but I think the rest of today, Jim, looks pretty good. We've had a lot of breaks in the clouds. That's allowed for some sunshine, and temperatures have surged into the upper 70s at the lower 80s. So it's a mild evening with just a slight chance of a shower. I think the rain is really just on schedule for tomorrow. That's when it gets here. Then a cold front sweeps in on Friday, Thursday night Friday. That's the one that's going to give us drier weather, but it's also going to send us into very chilly mornings, particularly through the early part of the weekend, Saturday morning, with temperatures dipping well below average. Upper 70s right now, as you see there, and for the most part, not raining in South Florida right now. Just a couple of isolated sprinkles. Otherwise, it's just a lot of cloud cover. That's our weather for tomorrow. That's the rain that's going to be headed in our direction. And of course, it's not just rain. We've been dealing with this historic snow event underway across the Gulf states, where some areas, including Louisiana, have picked up upwards of 10 inches of snowfall. Getting close to the Pensacola area. I think we start snowing later this evening and continuing into tomorrow. Mobile has already picked up 4.6 inches, and those winter storm warnings will continue through the Panhandle. I'm expecting an additional 2 to 4 inches. That includes the beach. We've already seen scenes coming out of the sand just getting covered by snow, and a spectacular event there. Live reports from meteorologist Shane Hinton beginning today and continuing through tomorrow. So there's our front with rain and cooler weather, and then we turn a bit milder on Thursday. Thursday we'll still hang on to some showers. I think a lot of cloud cover. It's really this front that's been hanging out with us that until it clears, it's really not going to bring us better weather. That happens though in time for the weekend. It's just if you have weekend plans, Friday morning, that's going to be the coldest. You'll see that the Next Weather 7-day. Next Weather rain tracker will continue again with mostly partly cloudy skies for tonight, but there's that shield of rain beginning to move in, so this will impact part of your morning commute, so keep that in mind. And then a good pocket of heavier rainfall begins to move through. Not expecting flooding conditions at all. The soil can take this moisture, and then for Wednesday we'll continue Wednesday night into Thursday with just some scattered showers before things clear out. Overnight temperatures for tonight not moving much. Upper 50s for tomorrow. We'll stay in the 60s. It's going to be much cooler than today. Plan for that today. We're upper 70s, low 80s. So the cloud cover and rainfall won't really let temperatures move all that much through tomorrow afternoon. We'll get stuck in the 60s. It would take all day to get 70. I don't think we'll actually get there. Upper 60s. We should do better on Thursday with temperatures into the lower 60s by Friday. There's that big cool down. So 50s for Thursday night. We'll wake up with temperatures in the 40s, and that's for Miami. So our colder spots will likely fall into the mid-40s by Saturday morning, and then a much milder. You can see that wind shift there. That's going to help us out to warm things up already by Sunday with temperatures into the 70s, and that warming trend continues into next week with highs near 80.
A real South Florida winter. All right, Ivan, thank you. And speaking of winter in Florida, Next Weather meteorologist Shane Hinton is tracking this historic winter storm. Snow in Florida? Wow. Look for his live reports from Panama City Beach a bit later today, right here on CBS News Miami. Well, President Trump's first full day in office has been very busy. He is announcing billions of dollars in artificial intelligence infrastructure, while some of his executive orders already are facing pushback. CBS News Miami's Natalie Brand has more on this.
President Trump is banking on GOP congressional leaders to help move his agenda in Congress, inviting them to the White House during his first full day in office. CBS News has learned the president is also set to announce billions of dollars in private sector investment to build a supercomputer that will help develop the next generation of artificial intelligence. The new venture, called Stargate, will start with a data center project in Texas.
Already, some of Trump's new executive actions signed within hours of taking his oath are facing legal challenges. 18 states filed a lawsuit Tuesday over the order seeking to overturn birthright citizenship. The attorneys general saying it's in clear violation of the Constitution's 14th Amendment.
The question is, are the laws of our nation going to mean anything, or can they be taken away by a stroke of the pen?
With a crackdown on illegal immigration a top priority for the new White House, Reverend Marianne Edgar Buddy had this message during this morning's national prayer service attended by the First Family.
I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away.
As defendants convicted in the January 6th Capitol attack are set to be released after Trump's sweeping pardons, even some Republican lawmakers say they don't agree.
I'm about to file 2 bills that will increase the penalties up to and including the death penalty for the murder of a police officer, and increasing the penalties and creating federal crimes for assaulting a police officer. That should give you everything you need to know about my position.
Trump also directed the Attorney General to seek dismissal of any January 6 criminal cases still pending. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Enrique Tarrio, the former leader of the extremist group the Proud Boys, has been set free from prison. The Miami native is expected to return to South Florida tomorrow. Tarrio was among the many pardoned by President Trump for his connection to the January 6th insurrection 4 years ago. CBS News Miami's Joe Gorcho spoke to Tarrio's attorney. Look for his report on CBS News Miami beginning at 5. And we will live stream Tarrio's arrival on the CBS News Miami app, Pluto TV, and CBSMiami.com tomorrow, whenever it happens. Well, 2 Americans who are being held by the Taliban are now free. A prisoner exchange was agreed to in the final hours of the Biden presidency. The Taliban swapped Ryan Corbett and William McKenty for an imprisoned member who was serving a life sentence here in the United States. Corbett had been a prisoner in Afghanistan for 2.5 years. He was working there when he was taken into custody in 2022. Not much is known about the other American, William McKenty. The Taliban's Khan Mohammed was flown to Doha from the U.S. He had been serving 2 life sentences after being convicted on drug and narco-terrorism charges. Well, in Northwest Miami-Dade, police are investigating a deadly hit and run. The crash happened in the area of Northwest 17th Avenue and 79th Street. Police say a woman was killed by an unknown vehicle that took off from the scene. Also in Miami-Dade, a man was killed, another man now hospitalized after a shooting outside of a strip club. This happened overnight on Northwest 27th Avenue between 119th Street and 120th. Investigators say it appears the person who died provoked a fight with the man who was injured, and that's what led to shots being fired. Meanwhile, in Broward County, a man is under arrest in connection to a deadly fire at a duplex in Deerfield Beach. A woman and her dog died in that fire. Police have identified their suspect as 40-year-old Gomez Morera. He was picked up in Manatee County and now faces charges of murder, arson, and cruelty to an animal. It is unclear if or how he's connected to the victim. When we come back, firefighters in Southern California facing a new round of dangerous conditions as they battle those relentless wildfires. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Well, tomorrow could be decision day on how many Broward County schools will close this fall. The school board is expected to consider a number of proposals from the superintendent. According to the Sun Sentinel, Howard Hepburn is recommending that Broward Estates Elementary and Lauderhill be shut down and converted into an early learning center. That school is considered low performing. It's also the district's lowest enrolled school. Coconut Creek, Hollywood Central, and Coral Cove in Miramar would be converted to K-8 schools. Pines Middle in Pembroke Pines would become a 6-12 collegiate academy, while Silver Shores Elementary in Miramar would switch from a neighborhood school to a choice school where students would apply to get in. The district has spent about a year hashing out a plan to cut costs and also deal with declining enrollment. Well, fierce winds whipping up in Southern California again are expected to calm down this afternoon, but more threats are on the horizon. In the last 24 hours, firefighters turned their attention to 3 brush fires. On the devastating Palisades fire, now it's 61% contained. That's reasonably good news. A fire weather watch that remains in effect Tuesday through Thursday evening, and the mayor of Los Angeles is looking ahead to potential flooding concerns.
I'm issuing an executive order to shore up burn areas and stem the flow of toxic debris in the event of rain this weekend.
Firefighters also tackled several small fires in San Diego County. Evacuation orders were issued for residents in line of the Lilac fire. Well, a first-of-its-kind report shows tens of millions of people could die from infections resistant to antibiotics over the next couple of decades. CBS News Miami's Danya Bacchus tells us of one survivor.
For Joseph Paz, a simple toe injury from basketball led to an antibiotic-resistant infection that almost killed him.
My condition was not improving, and so it was determined that the infection was still going strong.
13 years ago, the high school athlete contracted community-acquired MRSA, which spread to his knee, throughout his body, and attacked his heart. He spent months in the hospital and needed 2 open heart surgeries.
The cardiothoracic surgeon removed lots of tissue, infected tissue from my heart to stop the infection. Several orthopedics who went into my tibia and femur to remove infected tissue.
A study estimates more than 39 million people globally could die from antibiotic-resistant infections over the next 25 years.
Antibiotic resistance is what happens when a bacteria changes in such a way that the antibiotics we use to fight these infections are either not effective or less effective than they used to be.
UCLA's Dr. Kevin Ikuta authored the study, which shows deaths among people 70 years and older increased.
Older adults tend to have more comorbidities like diabetes, heart disease, or cancer that puts them at greater risk. And as we get older, our immune system is not quite as robust.
Joseph couldn't go back to playing basketball, but he enjoys other sports now. He urges others to be vigilant about prevention.
For the community-acquired version, which is the one that I picked up, don't share towels, don't share equipment, keep your cuts covered and treated.
Precautions that could be life-saving. Danya Backus, CBS News.
Well, First Lady Melania Trump turned heads yesterday with the now viral custom hat, and it was created by a Miami designer. The low-sitting, wide-brimmed hat had the First Lady's eyes during the inauguration. It hid them, I should say, and also kept others, including the president, at a distance. Did you see this moment, the first couple exchanging an air kiss with her brim getting in the way? Yeah. Designer Eric Javits says the wide brim dates back to Victorian times, defining a lady's space.
It was very understated, very elegant, and appropriate. But when she put it on, and I had never seen her wearing it before, because I never had direct contact with her in person or anything, I really felt like her presence and her sort of inner grace and beauty really kind of brought the whole thing alive, and really became a focal point.
I'll agree with him on that. Javits says his custom creation was actually the second one he turned out for Mrs. Trump for Inauguration Day. The first one, in case you're wondering, was destroyed in a recent snowstorm. And finally, the 67th annual Grammy is just a couple of weeks away, and we have just learned that Trevor Noah will return to Smash ceremonies for the 5th straight year. Everybody's saying hooray because the guy's hilarious. The Grammys return to Los Angeles on Sunday, February 2nd, and you can watch it on CBS Miami right here at 8 p.m. Looking forward to that. That is CBS News Miami's Quickcast. I'm Jim Barry. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami.